It's been a long time since I've been in the hot seat. This is really exciting. Long time ago, you had done a tour, and it was a little different. You just went into, what do you want? No telling of the story, no details. So, what I want is to experience something I've never experienced in this lifetime, which is marriage. And I want to know how to get it.
Well, it's a good question at a good time, because what we've been talking about here is about when you feel the absence of something that you want so much, you cannot get around it. There is no way to compensate for a vibration that feels like doubt. And so you have to get off the subject, and you haven't exactly been off the subject.
No, because my job and what I do for a living, I'm on 24/7, 365 doing it. So it's been really hard. I try, trust me, I try. I'm always trying to find another thing to focus on.
In the same way that we were talking about dollars and what they mean,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about a relationship and what that means.
Okay.
What is the vibrational essence of it? Apart from the obvious, what does it feel like? Because, you know, you've heard us say this so many times, no matter what it is that anyone wants, pile of money, a relationship, a circumstance, an event, a material object, it's because they believe they will feel better. So what feels so good from your perspective about a relationship?
I love loving someone, and I love the connection.
You said two things that are a little bit different. You like projecting your appreciation to someone, and you like getting it back. So it's mutual, it's resonance, isn't it?
And also like sex. A lot.
Well, there's a lot of that around.
I don't want to just sleep with one a million people. I want to sleep with one that I'm connecting with and raising the vibration with.
We are not disagreeing with anything. You get to want whatever you want, and you get to identify it in whatever way that you want it. But the thing that we want you to feel, we're just going to say this very blatantly, and we've said this to many people very blatantly. Your often offered vibration, which is what a belief is, simply doesn't match your desire. That's all that it is. Your desire and your belief don't match. And as long as that is true, your true desire cannot come about. As long as your true desire is one thing and your belief is another. Well, what causes a belief? Fact finding, paying attention to things. So you're too in your head about what a relationship is, and not quite enough in your heart or in your vibration about what it would feel like. And so describe for us what it feels like to be inside a relationship, the one that you want. What does that feel like? Go really slow.
Go general, right? Yeah.
General or specific, but go really slow.
Okay.
Choose your words as you feel them, and let's ponder them and really feel them as you go.
Exhilaration.
All right, now exhilaration, that's all right. Exhilaration is a feeling that has a lot of momentum going. So to start on a subject that has a lot of momentum going, when you've got beliefs that are blocking it, doesn't work very well. So try to go a little more general, as you said, a little deeper, a little more feeling, a little softer feeling than exhilaration.
Nurturing. It's very nurturing to me.
Nurturing. Now, so nurturing is a good feeling. You being nurtured feels a little needy. But your desire, what's in your vortex, there's no neediness in your vortex. And so when you're looking for nurturing, that's not truly resonant with what you're looking for. And this is what the process is, and it's just wonderful. So just keep offering words. Just keep offering words.
Well, I mean, it's happiness.
Wait. Just keep offering words
Okay.
that describe the feeling that you are reaching for, because you've made a decision about something that you want, and we want to feel the vibrational essence of your decision. So this relationship feels to me like
Freedom.
all right. Now, freedom from what?
To fly.
Freedom from not being alone. What we're getting at, and just sit tight for just a second, but what we're getting at is the desire is here, but the receptive mode is here. And so even though you're offering words that seem like they should be resonant, they're not, because they're coming from a different place than this alignment. And the purpose of this conversation is for the feeling that you have to reach this place, and it will. We're just going to stay here till it does. So go get a drink, water. So relationship feels like,
I keep getting the word connection, like in alignment with someone who's like you, that you can be together. And
but see, when you're connected with you, then you can find someone who's connected with you. But until you're connected with you, when you're looking for someone to make the connection, then it keeps not happening. And a lot of people, there's no reason in the world that you couldn't have hooked up with this one and this one and this one and this one and this one, except that what's in your vortex is something very different from that. So what you're saying to us is, Abraham, over time I've created a very specific relationship, and I don't want to settle for anything less than that, but clearly I must not be a vibrational match to what I've created in my vortex. Help me be a vibrational match to what I've put into my vortex. That's what this question is. How can I be a vibrational match to what's in my vortex? Well, you got to understand what's in there. It's so interesting because you are an independent being, sort of looking for a relationship that you can feel dependent upon. You are a being who wants the freedom of your own clarity, who wants somebody else to play with, who will cause you to be a little less free. Hasn't that been your experience?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here's the question. How do I be a vibrational match to what's in my vortex? So we have some questions. Do you believe you have a vortex?
Yes.
Do you think it has a lot of components on this subject?
Yes.
Do you think that since you've been putting them there incrementally, that they have gestated and that they are ready for you to be ready for them?
Yes.
Yes. There's no question. And so therefore isn't the only question, how can I be ready for what's ready for me?
Correct.
And how do you know if you're not ready? Feels like negative emotion. How do you know if you are ready?
Happy emotion.
Feels like positive.
Yeah, positive.
So this conversation is not about making something happen so that you can be happy. This conversation is about being happy in this conversation.
True.
You feel that?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about accomplishing something so I can get to the manifestation. It's about being happy. It's about making the connection with your inner being so that you don't even need the connection with another human. And when you've made the connection with your inner being so that you don't even need or even really want, then someone who is also in that place of connection will just flow into your experience, and you'll say, I've been looking for you. Makes sense, doesn't it? What you're feeling right now is so good, because what you're feeling right now is the absence of that feeling. And how do you know what you do want if you don't know what you don't want? What you're feeling is
sadness that it's not there, that
sadness,
that I bring other people their true love and I can't seem to get it myself right. And I've been doing it my whole life. And it's pissing me the fuck off. I'm sorry.
so you're having a step one moment.
Pretty much so.
And we would like it to be a step 5 moment where you're feeling that, but not mad at yourself because you're feeling that. This is such an important conversation, because of course you know what you don't want and you know what you do want, and you're really good at what you do, and you're not very far from being in that place that you want. What you're about in your work is bringing manifestations about that make people happy, which is backwards of the way the laws of the universe are working, because the laws of the universe say get happy, and then that happiness will be reflected in all of these different ways. Let's take a segment of refreshment.
Okay.
Don't talk to anybody about it, because everybody's going to have a good idea for you. And since this is a topic of huge proportion in this room, no kidding, when we come back for a segment of refreshment, we'll just walk through it in a way that will leave you not exhilarated, but completely satisfied. It is our promise to you.
Thank you.
Good time for a segment of refreshment. And are you refreshed? Yes. Good. You're ready to continue? Yes. From your own experience, what does a relationship most feel like?
Fun. I'm the best I am when I'm in a relationship.
So, can you feel from what we've been talking about the laws of the universe, that if there's something that you want and it hasn't manifested yet in your experience, that you must be offering a vibration that is in opposition to it?
Yes.
Logical. We know you know that. So from that point of view, what does the absence of a relationship feel like?
Crap.
But that's a descriptive but general word. But what is it about not having a relationship? What does that feel like?
Like you don't belong.
All right, so sort of a fish out of water. Everybody goes home with somebody, and so describe that a little bit. Find emotional terms to describe that.
Noah's Ark, like something's wrong with you. Why can't I find it, but you know, and other people can?
But you see, you're going further into the question than we're really wanting you to right now. We
Okay.
just want you to find the vibrational essence of the feeling of the absence of this thing that you want.
Okay.
So it feels like lonely. It feels like incompletion. It feels like no one to back you up. It
Yeah.
feels like no one specifically assigned to be on your side.
Exactly.
It feels like sort of emptiness. It feels like incompletion. Feels like wrongdoing.
And also feels like out of control. Like it's not in my control. It's like destiny. You know, these stories were taught as a child. These stupid, the beshert, if you're Jewish, story.
Well,
like, where's my soulmate? Where's my other half?
Well, let's stop there just for a minute, because we know that you've gone further into your understanding of law of attraction than that. So we know you don't really believe that.
I don't believe there's one person. I believe there's more than one person.
But what we mean is, you know that you create your own reality. And so don't you think that as far as that goes with you, it's more of a question of why am I not doing a better job of creating something I want, rather than who's preventing me from it?
Yeah, probably. Or is it that there's not a good match for me? Because I meet guys, I date them.
But that's completely illogical. If anything that we've been saying is true, and surely some of it must be,
obviously.
then the creation of your vortex means that what you want is vibrationally already there. So how are you going to turn those vibrations to the things that you want? Now let's just stop here for just a moment, because you're doing a really good job of explaining to a lot of people why things aren't going better for them on some subjects too. Because there's a tendency, and we get why, to be standing in a place other than where you want to be, and then sort of drum up old stories or beliefs that sort of support that. That's what you were just doing just now, even though those stories that you were drumming up don't have anything to do with what you really believe. You do believe that you've created a vortex and that your vortex can come to you. We know you do, and we know that you do not believe in some destiny that is forsaking you of something you want, even though you just said it just now, sort of like you kind of believe it. We know you don't believe that. We know for sure that what you believe is that you've created something, that it's in the vortex and you just can't figure out how to get it out. We know that you believe that. And yet nobody wants to say, hey, I'm doing a bad job of not letting what I want out of the vortex. I'm doing a bad job of not lining up with it. And yet that's what's happening. You're doing a bad job of not lining up with what you want. And you know why? Because all day, every day, you're focused upon. Usually when someone really wants something, and we can feel the power of your desire, when someone really wants something and it isn't unfolding to them easily, our encouragement to them is get off the subject. But you can't.
That's the problem.
you can't get off the subject, and so you can't give yourself any relief from the thoughts that you keep thinking that are in direct opposition to what you want. And so you are going to have a little harder job than almost anybody else, because you can't take your thoughts off the subject and put them on another subject that's working all the time. You could some of the time. In other words, you could focus on prosperity and feel the feeling place of that and recognize how that all came about. There are things that you could focus upon. So let's just accept that you are, let us be clear about this for all of you. So if there's something that you really want that you don't believe, your issue, so to speak, and you visit with us about it, we always try to get you to deactivate the issue by activating something else. Because when you deactivate the issue, which is just the contradictory thoughts, then the vortex on the subject becomes dominant and things start unfolding for you. We've said, if you have 5 subjects and 4 of them are not working and 1 of them is, focus upon the one that is working, create a vibration of receptive mode that lets the other 4 work. Or we've said, if you've got 5 things that matter to you and 4 of them are really working well and 1 of them isn't, focus on any one of the 4 that is working well, and the other one will too. So that's been our encouragement. But you are one of the extreme exceptions to that encouragement, because you can't not think about this subject a great deal, because it is something that is another really big part of your life experience. So you have to be someone who is able to focus yourselves upon your desire. You can't get off the subject, so you've got to clarify this desire. You can't get off the subject, so you have to accept it like it really is. And we believe that we've come a long way already by not letting you scapegoat by saying, well, maybe it's this ridiculous thing, or maybe it's this ridiculous thing. It's not about any of those ridiculous things. It's about something really simple. You've got a desire that you spend more airtime focusing upon its opposite, which was the entire first words that we spoke to all of you today. That's what everybody's doing about everything that they want that isn't coming about. So you're not unique in that way. So here's some strong statements that we want to make. If your desire is strong enough, it doesn't matter what you believe, your desire will triumph. How about that? How about that?
That was the best thing I've ever heard.
Now let's break that down and explain why. If your desire is strong enough, that means it's gestated in the vortex. You're feeling it enough that the essence of who you are is about it more than about the beliefs that would be contradicting it. Because beliefs, unless they're activated, are dormant. So that takes us back to what you do for a living. You keep focusing upon beliefs and activating them. So you've got to make those activations about somebody else. Now this is going to be easy for you, because you said something very powerful to us. You said, I help so many people find their true love and I cannot find mine. Well, do you know why it's easier to help them? You don't have beliefs about them, so you haven't practiced resistance about them. So when you focus upon them, your desire is pure about them. So you have to find a way to put yourself in the place of one of them. Could you be one of your own clients?
Sure.
Just in your own mind. So if you were one of your own clients, how would you present yourself? What is it that you would like a prospective match to know about you, the true you?
I'm the most loving person that I know. I'm giving and loving and joyous, and I'm nothing like I am on TV, that's for sure. Nothing. Which is a preconceived notion a lot of men have. I'm completely the opposite. I'm very beta, not alpha.
Well, forgetting what anyone else might think from anything that they've seen, let's just go back to this about, tell us again who you are.
I'm loving,
all right.
Kind, generous.
So are you independent?
Independent, passionate.
Before you go further, so you're independent. So you really believe that you are independent?
Like an independent
Well-
woman that takes care of herself? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So independent, and yet the things that we ask you about what feels like are missing, it's like you sort of want somebody to stick up for you. And when we said that, you said
Oh, I love
you
that.
felt that so powerfully. So what we want to know is, can you feel the clash between these things of I'm independent, but I want someone to lean on? Can you feel the
Yes.
resistance in that? So which is it? Let's choose one.
I rather have the other one. I don't want to be independent anymore. I don't want to be independent.
Well, you see, you've just come exactly to the sticking point, because you were born independent in the sense that you are coming into alignment with the energies of the universe. You're coming into alignment with a source within you. You're coming into alignment with your desires. In other words, you're not independent from power, and you're not independent from clarity, and you're not independent from source. You're not independent from that partnership. You just want that partnership to be the greatest partnership. Otherwise, every relationship that you have will break down in the process, because that is so dominant. That is who you are. That is who you all are. So when you say, I don't want to be independent anymore, I want to lean on someone, that is the biggest falsehood that you have ever tried to offer to the universe at large, because everything about you is knowing something that is different from that. So feel what's going on. You're actually saying, in the matching world, I want to love you. I want you to love me, which of course everyone wants. I want our relationship to be dominant above all things, and I want to be able to lean on you when I need to. Where what you're saying from your harmonics with your inner being is, I am already engaged with the power of the universe. This is my first and foremost and most important relationship, not this. And in my alignment and in my strength, then I will have plenty to give, and there can be a reciprocal flow back and forth, but there's no need in me. And that is the big contradiction in your vibration right there.
The neediness.
And so let's talk about that just a little bit, because a need to be understood. And yet, have you noticed, you said something to us so important. You said, I'm not like I am on the show. So the millions of people who are watching do not know who I am. I am vastly misunderstood. And that's sort of sticking in your vibrational craw a little bit. You feel like you need to explain yourself. And yet we want to tell you, there are not enough words in the world. If they decided to do a show completely about who you really are, no one would watch it, because alignment is so boring.
I know, be boring. Be really boring. I know that.
And so rather than needing the world to understand you, or a person to understand you, or anybody to understand you, all you have to come to know is how understood you really are. And we really want you to hear this. You are so understood by your source energy, by your inner being, and what's in your vortex and what you want is so understood that you're not going to get some relationship that is less than what is understood. You have to come into vibrational alignment with what is understood about you. And so we're just going to give you some choices here. They'll be easy for you to get the idea of what we're going for. And there's really no right or wrong answer here. We'll guide you if your answer is not of benefit to you. But let's start again. Are you looking for a relationship with another person to demonstrate your autonomy, or to compensate for not having it?
I hope it's to demonstrate my autonomy. I hope it's...
But isn't that the best thing that you've ever heard us say?
Yes. Yes, that's awesome.
Are you wanting to demonstrate your autonomy?
Yes.
Or compensate for not having it?
No.
How often are you looking for someone to shore you up when everything about who you really are does not want you to look for something that isn't needed, and even more, doesn't want you to need it, you see?
So is that why the men come to me who are so needy? Like I'm their mother. I don't want to be anyone's mother anymore.
Because they're coming to the vibrational essence of what you're emanating. You don't mean to do it, but oh, isn't it nice that your inner being isn't letting that work out?
Makes a lot of sense now.
That was a really good one, an easy one to answer. So what are you looking for in a relationship? Someone to focus upon so that the best of both of you can come out into the foreground to play with each other, or someone who will see in you something that you can't find in yourself?
No, I think I just want someone to play with. I'm not making it complicated.
For sure. But of course, for sure, you want a mutual, playful partner who doesn't need your flattery in order to be in alignment, and you don't need his flattery in order to be in alignment. You're both just so in alignment that you just can't stop gushing over each other.
Yes.
But you're not gushing over each other to buoy each other up or to compensate for some lack or void that either one of you feel. You're doing it because it's just what two turned in, tapped in, turned on people do. You just keep milking it and milking it and milking it and milking it and just talking about how good life is, not to make it better, but because you're acknowledging how good it is.
Yes.
Oh.
State of appreciation.
Oh.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, do you believe that this relationship has been gestating?
Yes. Well, this is something where it happened. Well, the first gentleman that came up, sometimes when I'm here, I fall asleep and I'll doze. And I saw me kissing a guy. And last night I was listening to you before I came, and I had a dream that I was with the guy. So I felt like I was summoning signs of land, like it was on its way.
Once something's manifested in your dream state that feels lovely like that felt in your dream state, it means that you are on the vibrational beat of it. Once it's manifesting in your dream state, that means that those are thoughts turning to things. It's thoughts turning to things in your dream state, but it's still part of the evidence of the evolution of the thoughts turning to things. So that's a really good thing. We just have a few more questions for you just to shore this up altogether. Feel how much better you feel?
I feel so much lighter. Oh my God. The minute I walk in here, and when, every night before I go to bed, I either play your meditation, which I'm obsessed with, and I play, you on YouTube or some of my CDs. And every time I've had a bad day, I could cry. You always put me in the most amazing, wonderful state. So thank you, Abraham.
We are knowing that, but blah, 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 blah.
I'm just wanting you to know that.
Because what we're wanting to point out is you were not as you are now when you first sat down. Just listening to it isn't enough. It isn't enough to listen to someone else who's in alignment. It's better than listening to someone who isn't in alignment, but it isn't enough. What is enough is this process of recognizing that your inner being knows it, and that you must find thoughts that give you the resonant feeling of alignment. And so just watch the stories that you tell. Doesn't matter what you're doing in your work, but when you sit down, let's back up because this is important to you. You can't ignore this. You have to hit it head on, because your desire is strong and your everyday work is holding you in a vibration that is not really serving you. So when you have an opportunity, it's important for you to focus upon this in a way that you really feel energy move. And you felt it here today. So let's talk about what you felt. You felt us help you to identify who your inner being is and how your inner being really feels. And then as we began talking, we wouldn't let you say things or add momentum to things that didn't give you resonance about that. That's the work.
To catch yourself, basically.
To catch yourself and not allow the momentum to get going. So it's first thing in the morning that works best, or anytime you can, but first thing in the morning, because while you sleep, your momentum subsides. And when you first wake up, then that's when you want to turn your attention toward what you want. And just getting out there a little bit ahead of it, what you're going to start noticing is, as you feel satisfaction in your singularity, then everything in the world begins to yield to you. Every subject that matters begins to yield to you. But when you feel lack on any one subject, especially a subject that matters so much, then you just block it as fast as you call it, you see.
I know, because when I do money, it's so easy. And then if things don't flow in money, I just go, oh, who cares? Another deal will come. Another deal will come. And they always come. I just happen to be able to take that vibration till today to that place.
So where you stand now, as you've come down this road and as it's manifesting, now you're able to focus upon the manifested and keep it going. And humans like that. You like to be able to focus upon conditions that please you and keep those positive things going. And we understand why you would like that. We like that for you. But if it makes you, therefore, someone who focuses upon conditions wanted and unwanted, then it bites you. you hear the distinction that we're getting at? And you can't be someone who's focused upon these positive conditions and therefore it is enhancing your point of attraction, and also someone who's focusing upon these negative conditions. And so you have to be able to pick and choose. You have to be able to say, I can't go there about that. Did you see how abruptly we encouraged you to not make those statements that don't resonate with what's in your vortex? So that's really going to be your work. Stop telling those stories that don't have anything to do with what's going on. The other day there was someone who came to the hot seat, beautiful man. His beautiful wife was in the audience, and his conversation was about wanting to conceive. They had conceived and had a miscarriage, and they wanted to know what we saw in their vortex, and we said, there are kids in your vortex. But even in doing that, we created a condition that he could then focus upon that made him feel better. There is a beautiful marriage in your vortex. It's there. And what we want you to do is enjoy your becoming to meet it. Enjoy your becoming. Don't feel the absence of it. Enjoy your becoming to meet it, you see. Really good conversation.
You're the best. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And then as he was sitting down, relative to the children, we said 5. We're not going to say that to you.